Is it oriented?
Hey guys, happy Saturday. Welcome to the replay if you're catching this on the replay, and if you're catching me live, hi, what are you up to today? Tell me where you're watching from. Good afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock Central Time here in Texas. And just got some packages in the mail. Yay, happy mail that I was waiting on all week and kind of panicking over because one of them was supposed to be delivered yesterday and it went out for delivery and then they said it was undeliverable, and oh my goodness, was having panic attacks, and the mail came and it wasn't in it, and then they came back. I was so happy when they came back. Do a little adjusting. So I thought we'd try an unboxing. I know some people really love the unboxing stuff. It's kind of a new thing for me, so I'm going to give it a try. Shay's helping me today with comments. So I'll just put this here. We're going to give it a second and see if anybody comes in. Sorry for the wobbling. Have to adjust that camera every time. Well, this first one is from LDRS Creative, and it's a package of goodies that I ordered for doing mini albums. Let's see what all is in here today. They had an amazing sale going on, and so I decided to take advantage of the sale as well as the things that I was after. And I got some dies. Those are very cool. They're bigger than I thought they would be, which I love when that happens. Layering dies. And more layering dies. Really love this one. I love this shape. Those are going to be fabulous for doing mini albums and for adding to cards and whatnot. And then this is what I actually was ordering, what I went on trying to find. And I was very happy that they had this. Genevieve Designs does a lot of mini albums and utilizes this oval and this little piece right here in a lot of the different things that she does. And so I've watched a couple of her videos where she's actually used this, and I've wanted it enough times that I decided to go ahead and invest in it. So I think I'll get a lot of use out of that. And then I found a 2-pack of embossing folders. I have a problem with embossing folders. It is very hard for me to pass them up. I love them. And I thought that this embossing folder with the cutout shape, it's not really a cutout, but it's a frame shape. It's very similar to this frame shape. And actually, I'm sure, I imagine that one of them might fit inside of the other one. I don't know if the camera's picking that up very well, but I thought this would be really a neat combination to have. And it has little dragonflies on it, which are very, very cute. And I think the other one is just dragonflies. Let's open it up and see. Yes, it's like quilted dragonflies. There's circles and little detail in between each of the circles. Really, really cute. Like that a lot. And then I got a background stamp. That is going to be fun. I think we might try that out today. And I see somebody popped on to watch. Let me know who's watching and where you're watching from.
Yeah, Leah.
Leah. Hi, Leah. I got these background builders. there's 6 pieces. It's hard to tell, but there's the inside piece, and then there's an outline for each one of them as well. And they have some stitching detail on them, so I thought that was kind of cool. LDRS Creative is where I found these dies at. And then I got cutting edge borders, and really like the different border shapes, and I know that I can just cut some of them, but these have stitching on both sides of each of the cut lines, and I thought that was a really nice detail for adding to things. And you can see the card there, what they show you for the example. I really like that a lot. So that's my LDRS Creative haul. Very happy about that. This is really cool background stamp, and it's got circles, and they're kind of ovals, and I don't know, they're different sizes. They remind me of peacock feathers. Of course, the whole thing doesn't, but just the shape in general reminds me of the oval that's inside of a peacock feather, and I thought this would make a really neat background. So let's get into this one. This is the one that was lost, and it was supposed to be delivered yesterday, and then it was undeliverable, and I was starting to panic. I was like, where is my package? And most of the time it's no big deal, because if the package is lost or there's a problem, they'll just reship everything out. It's no problem. But this was stuff that I ordered off of the retirement sale, and I'm afraid some of the things may actually be already gone, discontinued at this point, because once they're gone, they're gone. So get the paper out of the way. This is from Brutus Monroe in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right, Pittsburgh. And this was packed by Courtney. They put a little character card for each person that packs their orders. So I got a Courtney card, and I bought mermaid tail embossing powder. Love this. This was from the retired sale. And I got pink champagne embossing folder. This almost reminds me of rose gold. It is just incredibly beautiful. I can't wait to actually try it out. And then I got 2 more items. I bought the mixed media stencil of Tangled Waves, and I thought that was just going to go perfect with some of the other things I was doing, as well as with the mermaid tail embossing, the embossing powder. So I thought that was really neat. And then, let's see if I can find what this one is called. Grunge Shapes. This is a stamp set, Grunge Shapes, and I thought this would be really neat for doing my mini albums as well. Add a little bit of distress and whatnot to it, but in a very controlled way. Hard for me to just go with wild distressing, so. Fabulous. I am so happy to have that today. All right, so I thought with what I was waiting on was this mermaid tail embossing powder and the pink champagne. I thought we'd do a little heat embossing. Are you familiar with heat embossing? Let me know if you've done any heat embossing before. Alright, grabbing some coffee filters. My favorite thing for heat embossing. My favorite tool, coffee filters. Awesome. Well, I thought we would stamp out some stamps, try some things out, and just kind of play. Just chit-chat and play. Never know who's going to be available on Saturdays. This thing is incredible. see if I can get it open. Try to get the glare off of there for you. Right. Oh, it's sticky back. I wonder how that's going to do. I don't know. We're going to try it. I haven't used this brand of stamp before, so we're going to see how it works. Mod Swirls. I have a feeling it's going to be very stuck, but that's okay. We're going to give it a try. I'm just going to ink it up with some VersaFine. I got my little cube of VersaFine black. And since it's the first time that I'm using this stamp, I'm going to just let the ink kind of sit on it a bit. This is an archival quality ink, and so it's not going to hurt it to sit. Hopefully it won't actually need conditioning. Most of the time, if I'm going to condition a stamp, I just cover the whole thing with Versamark and let it be. Give it a press. I'm going to go over it again. What are you up to today, Leah? Most of the time, if I'm going to condition a stamp, I just cover the whole thing with And it looks like we have another person watching. Is it Manuela? Just give it a nice little press. One area is not wanting to connect. There we go. I could see the ink actually on the stamp itself, so I knew it wasn't making good contact. I'm afraid I've traveled with this stamp platform quite a bit, and I think that I've got it a little bit tweaked. That happens sometimes. So I'm really liking that. That's going to make a nice background for several things. And I'm going to give it a turn. Uh-oh. It might be stuck. It is on there. Pull it off and put it back on the backer sheet. I'm going to set that aside because I'll be cleaning it later. And I'm going to grab out those grunge shapes. By Brutus Monroe. I don't know if Christopher designed these or not. It kind of feels like his style. Yeah, new stamps do tend to stick to the paper. That's why it's really important that you use your magnets to hold your paper in place. And then, of course, if it pulls the paper up before you've started doing your design, you can put your paper, you can let the stamp be on your lid of your stamp platform, and then you can readjust your paper. I bet that's going to happen with this. These are really sticky, being brand new. I'm just going to try a couple of them out. Of course, I tend to go for the circles. But why not? You doing anything special this weekend? I know a lot of people have plans celebrating the 4th. Whoop, it stuck to me. Just do a handful of those. Pick them up.
She's going to Tuesday morning.
Oh, my favorite place is Tuesday morning. Oh my goodness. Do they have a new sale going on? I haven't seen any ads recently. Yep, that totally picked up my paper. I haven't seen any ads recently for Tuesday morning, which is probably a good thing. I love that place. You looking for anything in particular? Are you a craft shopper or just going to browse? All right, let's give this a try. I think it's going to be hard to tell if they don't turn out perfect because they're grungy as it is, which is kind of cool. Oh, it's definitely got my paper too. Ooh, I like it. That is really cool. That reminds me of a postmark, and it's got like little fuzzy detailing around it. That is neat. Liking that. Good job. Good job on this set, Brutus Monroe peoples. And they're sticky, sticky. Set those aside. I'm going to be cleaning them shortly. You stick them on a block for me. Well, they have to be flat on there. I'm going to flip this paper over, and I'm going to grab this mixed media stencil. I want to try this thing out. Let's see. Need some blue tape because my purple tape is sold out. If you have, there's purple tape, and it is actually lower tack than the blue painter's tape is, and they sell that at different places like Maymay made it, and it is really, really cool. But I got to use some of it, but I haven't bought any. They've been out of it each time I went to buy it. So I'm using the old standby blue painter's tape. And I'm going to go grab a color of ink besides black. Got a container full of my mini distress inks, and I've got a blending tool. I lost everything there for a second, so I'm going to try to bring it back up on my screen. Make sure y'all are still there. Okay, so I've got a blending tool with a foam pad on the end of it. And I've got a bunch of blues. This is my set of blues. And so let's see. Let's use some Mermaid Lagoon and some peacock feathers. And let's try some chipped sapphire and see how that goes. I'm almost thinking some lighter color, but I think the lighter color is going to get lost if I do tumbled glass. I don't know. Let's try tumbled glass, and we'll just start with tumbled glass and go darker. So I haven't used this style of a stencil before, so it's going to be new. Just going lightly over the top. It's a very intricate stencil. Tuesday morning is my favorite place to go for craft stuff. They are my kryptonite.
She has a small store too, like we do.
Yes, my neighborhood store is really tiny. They have one side of one aisle that is craft stuff, and sometimes half of that aisle is for like yarn and crochet and beads, and not paper crafting at all. All right, let's do peacock feathers next. Ooh, that really shows up. What a difference. And Mermaid Lagoon. Let's see how it does. It's a little darker than peacock feathers. I love this stencil. My last great find at Tuesday morning was not in the craft department. It was a rug for my living room. Needed a new rug and decided I would check there, and lo and behold, what they had was perfect. I'm not worried about going over the edges of the stencil because I know that I'll be cutting out to use just the wave portion. I see a few areas that are still a little bit on the white side. Most of it seems to be covered. I just love distress inks. They move so well. right, so let's see. Let's pick up the painter's tape first, if I can. Oh, it did not like that paper. Oh my goodness, I love that. Love the tangled waves. What do you guys think? Love that stencil. I'm so glad that I went ahead and got it. It wasn't part of the retirement sale, but I figured if I was going to be paying the shipping anyway, I'd go ahead and get it while I was ordering other items. Let's see if I can get that closer to the camera for y'all. Fun. Alright, I'm going to do some heat embossing. Want to try out these two new embossing colors. Let's see. I'm going to do one. I'm going to do it on white first. And I'm going to use a set from Maymay Made It. This is Celestial, and it debuted at Madeitsparkle in Texas for a class that Miss Brenda Barre was doing. And I'm going to try, I think, let's see, I really want to do the mermaid. Just want to do the mermaid. So let me get it off of the backer. Set it in that space right there. Pick it up. Oh yeah, it grabbed the paper good. Gonna have to be careful of that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up the Mermaid Lagoon and get the lid off of it. They come sealed, so I'm going to go ahead and get the seal off of there. I appreciate that they do that so that it doesn't spill all over the box. I've had quite a few orders where I've gotten the embossing powder or glitter or other powdered element like Perfect Pearls, and the cap has come loose and then it spills all over the box. And not only does it make a mess, but you're out the product too. And if you're waiting on it for a project like I often am, having them reship it doesn't really solve my problem, because I end up having to go and find it somewhere else or find an alternative. So I like that they do that. So I'm going to ink up the mermaid with Versamark embossing ink, sticky embossing ink. And I'm going to set that down and let it just sit for a second. So it makes nice contact. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time. I'm not 100% convinced that it got everywhere that I want it to be. My pad is about ready to be refilled or replaced. I like the little pads because I use a lot of little stamps, but I have used this one up quite a bit. Okay, now I'm going to apply the embossing powder. I can get the lid all the way off. So I'm going to generously apply the embossing powder over the stamped area. Remove these magnets. I'm going to use a coffee filter to catch the extra. And give it a tap. Now, some of the areas it looks like it didn't catch very good, so I'm going to pour the embossing powder back on. Move it around a little. Yeah, now it's catching really nicely. And one more time for good measure. Tap off the excess. I'm not usually working with such a large sheet of paper. I've got a full sheet of paper over here. I'm going to tap off the excess. Pour the embossing powder that we didn't use right back in the container. Beauty of a coffee filter, it lets you do that pretty easily. Put the lid back on there. And give it another little tap. And I'm actually going to grab a paintbrush to remove the excess that is wanting to stick in other areas. Actually, I'm going to use a towel for the big parts. So they are not even close to the design. Sorry if you're getting my head in there. And now I'm going to grab a paintbrush. Okay, so with a clean paintbrush, even though it's stained, it is clean. I'm just going to go around the edges where it wants to have picked up some color. There's an iridescence to this, and the iridescent sheen is on the paper. I can see it really, really strong in person, even though it's not blue like the powder is. So remove that, brush that out of the way. And it's going to get loud here for a second while I turn on the heat tool. I'm going to let that warm up a bit. Let's just get this out of the way. Okay, and I'm going to go from underneath so that we can hopefully see the embossing happen. I don't know. I'm moving it around. Let's see. Let's try at an angle. There we go. I'm hoping y'all can see that. Such a pretty shine. is such a pretty color. I am so glad. That was worth the wait. You see the iridescent shine on there? Worth the wait. I'm glad I got that one. All right. I'm going to cut this paper down real quick. Set that aside. And I want to try out the pink champagne. Let's see what that looks like. Gorgeous. For this one, I'm going to do a seahorse. And I'm just going to use an old standard block instead of the platform. We're just going to do the old style. A little less glare that way. Ink it up really, really good. This is a one shot here. Press it down on the paper really well. Let it have a second to have contact and really get in there. And then we're going to apply the embossing powder over the top of the ink. Shake that around a little bit. Oh my goodness. That is incredible. Now I should have used a static tool. An anti-static tool would have taken care of a lot of this excess that is sticking to the paper. But I did not do that beforehand, so I'm just going to brush some of it off. There is so much metallic sheen in this. It is really gorgeous. It's like it's all mica. All right, well, I wanted to see what it looks like heated up, so let's do it. Oh my goodness, that is incredible. I don't know how I'm going to get the camera to pick that up. It is almost silver, like a hologram, and then you move it and it turns to like a rose gold, and you move it another direction and it's a little bit more pink. It's really, really pretty. I don't know that that's really picking it up in the camera. I can see when it sees the shine. The color is incredible. Let me try to get closer. Great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I've got a couple of projects exactly in mind for using those colors. So that's all I've got for today. I just wanted to say hi and share an unboxing with you guys and do a quick tip on, do a quick heat embossing demo for anybody who hasn't done heat embossing before. I would say use your static tool first. That's something I should have done ahead of time. And that's it for me today. I hope you guys have a great Saturday, and I'll talk to you soon.